concrete walls. There's a place for us where we could go, where we could be alone. Between city lights, we don't have to hide. I wanna go, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? I can't understand why we can't hold hands, but they don't know what we have is real love. Aren't you sick and tired of having to hide? I know a place, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow?
What's up? I'll just wait for your answer. Oh no! Oh no! Uh oh! Who set up before the live stream? Who did it? The background light isn't on. Oh, in case you were wondering whether I was wearing pants, now you know the answer. Oh. You gotta have, despite the fact that my room does not look like a set in any meaningful sense. Oh, hang on. I always put the trash behind my chair so it's not on stream. See, I put a lot of thought into these things. When will the DJI Goggles V2 be available? When? When will they be available? Does anybody know? Do I look buff? I assure you, that is all fat, baby. How about now? Do I look buff now? Hang on. Oh, yeah. Posture is everything, kids. Posture is so important. Hey, I moved away from the mic when I screamed. It's supposed to work if you move away from the mic, right? Doesn't that work? Sorry, guys. I moved away from the mic. Maybe I need one of them dynamic mics. Okay. It's just how I feel when people are screaming in the chat. It's interesting you asked that question because, hang on, I'll show you why I say that. When will the DJI Goggles V2 be available? Sorry if that was too loud. I moved away from the mic. I thought it would be okay. Oh well. Because I have been chatting with Blunty about this. Now check this out. I want to show you guys the progression of this situation. This is an Amazon listing. This is legit. This is legit on Amazon. Now, this, in case you're not clear, the DJI Flash goggles is the DJI Goggles V2. Flash is the code name for the nothing. Flash is nothing. But DJI Flash goggles is the DJI Goggles V2. A couple interesting things, by the way. And notice this is the DJI store. This is not just some random seller. The DJI store on Amazon. A couple interesting things here. $569. A lot of people were looking at foreign stores like the Singapore store, and they were seeing a price of like $600 and something. And that's because that's the Singaporean price converted to USD, which is not the same. So $569, that looks like a confirmation of the price. Of course, some people pre-ordered it already. So, I mean, we should know what the price is. But it says it'll be released on February 7th. Oh, my God, that's today. What? It's coming out today? No. Because then... Oh. Then it changed to February 18th. Oh, man. That sucks. February 18th is not that far away. It'll probably be fine. No, joke's on you. Joke's on you. Now it says December 2021. December 2021. It's not coming out until the end of the year. Okay. And then I got this. Somebody placed the pre-order. And now it says delivery date February 2021, February 10th. Oh, that's good. So, when's it coming out? Who freaking knows? Who freaking knows? I know. I know when DJI said it was coming out. But I'm not going to reveal any secret information and risk my relationship with DJI. But I am happy to go over public information with you, right? That's fair game under an NDA. And I think it's pretty fair to say that it won't be December. Nabi FPV, there is no V2 air unit. That is correct. The air unit in the Vista, and again, we know this because of FCC filings. In order to release a new air unit or Vista, they would have to have a new FCC filing, and FCC filings are public information. So, yeah. Are any of those dates correct? Couldn't say. Couldn't say. Some people have actually received their goggles. They ordered, people are telling me that they placed pre-orders during that one day that they were for sale. And some people said they received them. Interestingly, they said they got the goggle from the reseller, but they can't actually update the firmware because the goggle has not officially been released, so it's not actually in the DJI app. So they can't really do anything with it. They just have the goggle. Congratulations. They do exist, though. Kermit198007 asks, how do you do an update the multi-protocol module on the Tango 2? It's exactly the same as any other multi-protocol module. That's why I didn't make one specifically for the Tango 2. Let's see if I can find you the instructions you need, though. I believe that the instructions are in this video. Shush, Joshua. Shush. Yeah. So this video, Kermit, this video shows how to update the multi-protocol module. Here's the video. However, you need to go read this comment and specifically read this, because I got something wrong in the video. EDoc, I'm surprised. What do you mean Freedom TX doesn't have the update? Freedom TX can't flash from internal? That's not right. Surely that's not right. Is that right? I mean, I didn't do it. Are you for real, Freedom TX? I mean, I'm kind of tempted to just go get it. Hang on.
Welcome to Tango 2.
Oh, shit.
Throttle warning.
You see? This is what happens when you actually send me product. I can actually test it and use it on stream instead of being like, I don't know, I don't have it. Do I have the... Let's just check. By the way, welcome to the stream. This is what we do here. Or if you're new here, we do not play any video games, although I will be playing Among Us with my patrons after the stream, so get on the Discord server if you want to be a part of that. I answer your questions, and today the question that we're answering is, how do you update the firmware on this? This is going to take just a second, but I think it's going to be quick enough that it's okay for the live stream. I usually try not to go super deep into troubleshooting and stuff when I'm on the stream, because it's just not the best use of your time. But this should be pretty easy. Like, oh yeah, let me finish my intro to this. So here's my window. Here's my what I'm looking at. Please ask your questions here in the chat. Ask your questions here in the chat. I can talk about the V2 goggles because they have actually been released. The NDA only applies to products that have not been released to the public. The goggles are in people's hands, so if you have questions about the goggles, I'm happy to answer them. So I'll be answering your questions here in the chat, and I'll also be talking to these beautiful people here in the Discord. These are my patrons, and if you want to join the Discord, you can. There's a link to my Patreon. Patreon's a website where you basically subscribe to me for a couple dollars or more a month, however much you decide is fair. As little as $2 a month, as much as you want. And you get, one of the things you get as a benefit of that is you get into the Discord server. You can hang out with these beautiful people. So just, you can also hit the $sign right down here and leave a super chat if you want to make sure I get to your question. Like this question from Ron Grant. I'll get to your question in just a little bit, Ron. But if you're asking a question and you're spamming the chat trying to get your question answered, spend a couple bucks and leave a super chat, and then I will definitely answer it. I will also answer tons of free questions. I don't like some streamers ignore you like if you don't leave a super chat. That's not my vibe. Let's check this out though. So the first place I need to go is, do I have the freaking firmware? Oh, it's right here. No, see, I've done it. Look, it's already on the SD card. I've already got the firmware on the SD card. Okay. We need inverted is what we need. And I can't show you this. Thank you. I can't show you this on camera, but I'm sure I've already done this. If I go menu to the SD card to firmware, and I long press multi-invert up in, flash external multi is totally an option. One catch is you need to rename the file to be fit the 8.3 format. Okay? 8.3 means like 8 characters and then a 3-character extension. The 3-character extension is always going to be .bin. So you'll get a file. You'll get a file, and the file will be named. Hang on. The file will be named something like multi stm opentx no.bin. The file system that Tango 2 uses cannot handle long file names. This goes back to the days of DOS. These kids don't understand what 8.3 is. The revelation that was whichever version of Windows finally gave you long file names. Amazing. So you need to rename the file to something like multi-aetr.bin. But you definitely do not need to plug in USB to the module or use a different. You could definitely flash the Tango 2 using the internal. Okay, there we go. Did you notice the faster refresh rate on the new screens of the DJI Goggles V2? Asks Alex Klein. Alex, if you are using the Air Unit and the Vista, then you are still at 120 hertz update rate, just like the V1 goggle. The increased, whatever, 140 something, 144 hertz refresh rate does not function with the Air Unit and the Vista. So what does it function with then? I couldn't say. Game of Drones says I canceled my Patreon because it wouldn't let me chat in the Discord. Game of Drones, sorry you had trouble. You have to manually link up your Patreon and your Discord account together, and if that integration was not done correctly, then it wouldn't have let you do it. I mean, I would be glad to help you out. I'll be happy for your support, however you choose to support me. Patreon is certainly a nice way to do it, but it's up to you, obviously. Sorry you had trouble with that. I can order the V1 goggles right now, asks Grim FPV. Is there a compelling reason to wait for the V2? Grim FPV, I'm not sure where you're ordering the V1. I'm surprised anyone has them in stock, but that doesn't really address your question. What I've been saying is that if you are using the Air Unit and the Vista, and you are a typical FPV pilot, the only advantage of the V2 compared to the V1 is that the V2 takes up to 6S input voltage, whereas the V1, people run the V1 off 6S and they say they get away with it, but the V1 is officially rated to 17 volts. So if you have all 6S flight packs on the V2, you could run them off of it. Of course, the V2 comes with a little USB battery pack, and it doesn't come with an XT60 to barrel plug, so you would need to source that yourself anyway. But that's a small advantage of the V2. The other advantage of the V2 is that DJI has said that there will be the ability to output video over USB to a smartphone on the V2, but not the V1. What was that? Oh, God damn it. Pardon my swearing. 1 second, please. 1 second, please. All right, sorry. My dog is outside and he's trying to get in the house and he's like scratching at my window, banging at the window. I was like, what is that noise? Sounds like there's a wild animal out there. There is. Okay, so those are the two reasons you would go with the V2, at least as an FPV pilot. So why are they releasing the V2? What's the big deal? The big deal is that there's this other product, the drone that was leaked, right? That's confirmed it to exist via the FCC filings. So I feel like acknowledging that it exists is fair play. And there are additional features that are enabled with that drone that the V2 goggles support that the V1 don't. But if all you ever do is fly the Air Unit and the Vista, at least as of today, those are the only real reasons to wait. Now, that USB out to a smartphone, that's a big deal. Like, a lot of people would wait for that. It's your call. Some people have asked, is the video out going to come to the V1s? We know that the V1s are 100% capable of doing it because they already do it to the smart controller. Exactly, and the smart controller is just an Android device. It's like, I think people have told me the smart controller is rooted, so there are some additional things it can do that a standard Android device can't do, but it seems like there's no reason why they couldn't make the V1 do it as well. But they have not confirmed that the V1 goggle would be able to do it. So, yeah, Andreas Dalsa said in the Discord says, why won't they do it with the V1? Someone told me, I don't know if this is true, they told me that the way that the V1 interfaces with the Android tablet requires the tablet to be rooted. And for the smart controller, that's no big deal because it's not really running a public build of Android. So they root it and they enable some kind of TCP/IP interface or socket interface, I don't know what, in the OS. And that might be a reason why the V1 could talk to the smart controller, but not to a standard smartphone. This person said, this was in a Facebook comment, so this is another a day at the range here. This person said that they had actually rooted their smartphone and emulated the interface to get video out from the V1 goggles on their smartphone, but that they didn't want to get in trouble with DJI, so they didn't release it to the public. So, is the DJI Flash Goggle the V2? I believe that it is. So, there you go. DJI V2, all the hotness right now. Why will the DJI Quad output a different frequency video? Asks Shady. I cannot say anything about the DJI Quad that is not public information. And basically, the existence of the DJI Quad has been confirmed by the FCC filing, but I probably wouldn't go any further than that. So there you go. Neil Bukanaga Jr. says, when you're testing range for something like FreeSky R9 or Crossfire, is height the same as distance? No one ever does height tests. That's an interesting question. When you're going out, you have problems like trees and hills. And an RF signal, let me bring up a graphic for this. An RF signal between 2 points, you think of it as being a line of sight. Here, this is a good graphic. You think of it as being a line of sight, but in fact, the RF signal can be thought of as encompassing a roughly sort of football-shaped volume of space. Good thing it's Super Bowl Sunday, huh? Football-shaped. That football-shaped zone of space is known as the Fresnel zone, or Fresnel zone if you are an American who never learned to pronounce it right. Fresnel zone. And the Fresnel zone, anything that protrudes into the Fresnel zone will block the signal or obstruct the signal. The larger the Fresnel zone is. Hang on a second. I'm having a problem with my stream. Let me make sure this is working right. Hold on. What's going on? Are you back? Not sure what happened there, guys. I have 0 dropped frames on my end. Hopefully it's back. They don't want you to know the truth about the Fresnel zone. Okay. So the Fresnel zone, the further apart the two antennas are, the bigger the Fresnel zone grows. It's proportional to the wavelength of the signal and the distance between the two antennas. And that means that when you are flying a long-distance RC airplane, the further out you are, you see the Fresnel zone gets bigger and bigger, and that means that you can have obstructions, even though maybe theoretically the line of sight to the aircraft is clear. Sound is odd. Check. I don't know what's going on, guys. Sounds fine to me. Weird. Reload your browser. Reload your browser, folks. Yeah, reload your browser. Everything's good. Check. Yeah, no, it's good. Reload your browser. Oh, hang on. Now we got a problem. Let me mute that. Okay, continuing. So the question was flying straight up versus flying straight out. If you think about it, flying straight up, the Fresnel zone is never going to be obstructed. No matter how far you go, unless you're like standing near a building or something, in general, the Fresnel zone, if you're flying straight up, is going to be clear. Whereas when you're flying out, there's a rule of thumb that for every kilometer you go out, you want to be so many feet of altitude. I don't remember the ratio. Trappy told it to me once, and I don't fly a lot of long distance, so I didn't really memorize it. But there's a rule of thumb for long distance that you want to always climb as you fly further out. And the reason for that is that you want to keep the Fresnel zone clear so that you have good signal. So range going straight up will be different than range going out, but nobody really flies straight up. So that's why nobody really... In general, it's going to be more. It's going to be more going straight up than it will be going out. However, you also have to take into account the antenna orientation. If you're sitting with your antenna like this, forget about the crossfire. If you're sitting with your antenna like this is the weakest spot of the antenna. So if you were to fly straight up, you would want to put your antenna like that sideways. But yeah. But good question. Marcos Savidis wants to know, is that the Cobra behind me? Yes, it is. This is the Skyzone Cobra S and Cobra X. The reason that I don't have the God camera up in the corner today is the God camera is one of my GoPro 6s that I use for module testing. I did range tests with these guys yesterday in the parking garage. I got to say, I actually haven't even looked at the range test results. They're still on the SD card. But I got to say, I am super impressed with these. Check them out. Oh, I don't know. It's not really going to work, is it? I'm super impressed with these goggles. I don't know who out there wants to pay whatever $200-something for a freaking box goggle, but I guess if that's you, then, I mean, we got to look at the range test to be sure. But the Rapid Mix module in the Skyzone Sky 04, I mean, this is the same module, so it should be good. I mean, I'm not going to make any assumptions, but it's really well built. It's really feature packed. Somebody finally took box goggles really seriously. I know the Fat Shark Scout and the Fat Shark Recon are pretty solid, but they just don't have the same feature set and interface. I mean, it's the same interface from the Skyzones. So, super impressed. We'll have to see how the range test does, though. All right, well, let's get some Super Chats out of the way. We got a bunch of Super Chats coming in, and it's about time to take care of those beautiful people who threw money at me. Wow, some big Super Chats. Thank you. Ron Grant, thank you for $5. What's the proper way to break in a new LiPo pack? Ron, my opinion is that breaking in the pack has no effect, that it is pure imagination, at least for LiPo packs. There are people out there whose opinion I respect who disagree with me on this. I just have to say, I don't think there's any benefit to the traditional break-in procedure where you traditionally you would discharge it at 1C and charge it slowly and do that 10 times. I do not think, I have never broken in a pack. I just don't think it freaking matters. And now cue the comments with people saying that's wrong. Prove it to me. Prove it to me. Because I did a very, very simple test that showed maybe a minimal difference, but it was a really simple test. It seems like it should be easy to measure, but every time you measure the effect of break-in, people move the goalpost. So they're like, it affects longevity. That's it. Oh, you're saying that in order to measure the effect, I'm going to have to discharge 500 discharge cycles. And on the 499th cycle, the one that broke in is going to do 5% better? Forget about it. I just don't think I don't break my packs in, and I couldn't tell you what the proper way to break in the pack is. Oh, but this guy I know who works at a LiPo factory told me. Nobody, shut up. Show me a test. Show me a test that demonstrates a difference, and then I will believe you. Kermit, 1980-07, thank you for 50 Norwegian kroner, for answering that question. Luke Meyer, pulling out the wallet today. Luke Meyer with a $50 super chat. Will the $25 super chat get us an FPV bag review before Rotor Riot Rampage? So Luke, I have the Pyrodrone backpack coming. I looked at the Pyrodrone backpack on a live stream, and I was intrigued by it, and I actually ordered one. I actually ordered one, and then Serge said, "Hey, I saw that you ordered the pack. I was going to send you one anyway, so I refunded it for you." And I'm like, okay, but I wanted to buy it so that I could just sort of, because I'm super picky about packs, and I wanted the option to just be like, yeah, I'm going to pass on this if it didn't like rub me the right way. But what am I going to do? He refunded it for me. So thank you, Serge, for that. This is tempting. I love my backpack, which is the Torval Pitstop Pro. I'll put that up. I love this backpack. It's been my favorite for a long time. There is a review up on my channel if you want to see what I like about it. I'm not going to go into like massive detail. Just throw it. Come on. Can you load the page? Yeah. So, but there are a few things I don't like about it. A few things that are a little annoying, and just after having it for 2 years, you kind of get a little antsy, and you start thinking, oh, well, maybe something else would be nice. There are a couple things I like about this one. It is not carry-on sized, for the record. They're coming up with a second one that will be carry-on sized. This one's a little bigger. Let's see if we can get a picture of it on somebody's bag. Can I have a person wearing it? So I'm going to give it a try. No, I can't have a person wearing it, can I? Really? Surely there's a person wearing it on this dang website. No. Okay. Well, there has to be. Okay, forget it. So maybe. I don't know if it'll... The thing is, if you look at my schedule right now, here's my schedule right now. Here's my schedule. So, before Rampage, probably. I'm currently scheduled down through the end of February. That schedule is not set in stone, but I am scheduled through the end of February, and the backpack's not on there. So it'll be at least March, I think, before that comes. Thank you, Luke Meyer, for your donation. Josh Shartner, thank you for $5. Anomaly 40, thank you for $5. Quit answering my questions before I finish typing. Grim FPV, thanks for 50 Norwegian krona. Is it kroner or krona? Thanks for answering my question, says Grim FPV. Brandon D, thank you for a $5 donation. Is there any way to test RaceWire LED lights to see what color they are before installing them? Wow. I mean, I guess if you just put VBAT across them, it would work, wouldn't it? Like, I mean, this is a little bit risky, so do this at your own risk. But if you clamped on to one of the pads just go straight through, and the LED is just in series with the wire, with the motor wire. Or sometimes it's in parallel. So that, anyway. But I think that if you were to just take a LiPo, like a 4S LiPo, and alligator clip across the race wire, it should light up. If you do that and you like burn your house down, don't blame me. You might want to use a light bulb smoke stopper in addition, so that if you are like fussing with the alligator clips and you accidentally touch them, the light bulb will protect you. Thank you, Star Jumper, for providing this picture. I'll get to that in a second. Nice Dax says, yeah, the LED has to be in parallel. That's right. It has to be in parallel, otherwise it would get in the way of the motor signal. It's just siphoning off a little bit of current. Here is the Pyrodrone bag in comparison to the Torval Pitstop Pro. The Pitstop Pro is the biggest that you can get a carry-on bag. It just barely is legal for a carry-on. But I'm actually not too mad about that because, frankly, I haven't been getting on a plane recently in a while. Maybe I don't need a carry-on. And they're coming out with a smaller version of the Pyro drone that will be carry-on legal, but don't go across on the same pad, says Jeff Hendricks. What'll happen if you do that? Thank you, Hapsitpo, says Yo Bardwell. I love your content. Mike Bergman, I agree. The race wire LEDs are typically run off of VBAT. They're not 5 volts. Skadoosh says, that bag is massive. Who needs all that gear? I don't know, man. Somebody. Gel Capitan says, have you heard about FreeSky's new Ethos OS? Yeah, FreeSky is coming. Drone Racer says, if it's in parallel, it'll be a short circuit. Oh, okay. Good point. You would oh. Yeah, okay, hang on. You're right. Because if the LEDs are in parallel with the actual motor current, if you then short circuit it, you'll just have a dead short. Oh yeah, definitely use a smoke stopper. Definitely use a smoke stopper. Do not just short the LED. The LED is the load, Brendan, but if the LED is in parallel, then the short circuit will still occur, won't it? If the LED was in series, then it would be safe to short across the battery. All right. So be careful and use a smoke stopper is my point. That's what I'm saying. Geradot, thanks for 21.99 euros. No comment, just a donation. Thank you, Geradot. Drea, thank you for 5 euros. You are the Jesus Christ of drones. Stop. I would never risk ticking off Christians by agreeing with that. I love so much what you do, Mr. Bardwell. Big fan from Italy. Thank you very much, Drea. Trevor Kerr Lewis, thanks for £5 for the solder fund. Thanks for what you do. Chris Cameo, thanks for $5. Since the V2 goggles are the same form factor as the original DJIs, what do you recommend for foam? The newbie drone foam looks different now. I haven't found a perfect goggle foam for the DJI goggles. I actually often end up just using the factory foam. The newbie drone foam is good. There's different foam out there that works differently for different people. I haven't found a single, like with the DJI goggle, with the Fat Shark goggles, I feel like the newbie drone foam is just better for basically everybody. The only people who don't like the newbie drone foam for the DJIs, I think, are people who it's too thick and it moves them goggles further away from your face and maybe their eyes don't quite line up right. But I think for the DJI, I think you just got to try different foam and see what works best for you. Kevin Kaminsky, thanks for $5. We got 2 more super chats, then we'll go back to answering questions from the rest of the folks. Kevin Kaminsky, thanks for $5. JBF7 flight controller won't display OSD for air unit. UART2 is set for config MSP, and the air unit is connected via the harness provided. Any tips? Well, if you're plugged into the harness and you're plugged into the air unit, then we can rule out soldering and wiring being wrong, because on the air unit and the JBFC, it just plugs in. Let's just double check. Let's just double check the UART is correct. You'd think I would know that off the top of my head, but I know better than to assume. Let's look at the manual for the Bardwell F7 and confirm that you got the right UART. That is correct. UART. So here's the setup for DJI Digital. It's plugged in and UART2. Here's what I would say. Kevin Kaminsky. Do you have VBAT in the lower right corner of the goggles? VBAT in the lower right corner of the goggles will confirm that the MSP connection is working. If you then don't see OSD, you need to go, hang on. hang on. You need to go. 1 second. Yeah, you need to go. Here we go. Into your goggles and go to settings. Go to display. And then it's a little blurry. Sorry about that. But go to custom OSD and make sure custom OSD is on. I give this instruction so much I have a little clip of it already up. If custom OSD is off, you will not see the OSD, but you still will see VBAT. So VBAT in the lower right corner of the DJI goggles is a good way of confirming that your MSP connection is working. Okay. One more comment, and then we're going to go back to the regular chats. I'll pick up more super chats later. This comment's from Mark FPV. Thank you for $5, Mark. So I love your comment, but I hate how biased your reviews are, especially about DJI. So this is a tough one, Mark, because that's like saying, like anytime you review products, you are expressing an opinion. I try to do two things in my reviews. The first thing is give you the information you need to make a decision about whether the product is right for you. Okay? And that's why you'll see things like objective range tests. I'll show you the footage of the camera and you can look at it and you can decide how you feel. I'll show you the product and you can, but if all, like there are YouTube channels out there, like I watch some laptop review channels, and basically the whole review is just, it's like a product brochure. The guy will be like, here is the new laptop 9000. It has an i7 processor and a 3080 graphics card. The screen is 4K resolution OLED with 500 nits of brightness. And then that's the end. And it's like, that's not what I want from a review of a product. I like guys like Dave Lee. I don't know if anybody knows who, like, he's super popular. I'm sure some of you know who Dave Lee is. Dave Lee is an amazing laptop reviewer. I want to learn so much from how he reviews. He is concise, and I'm not concise, but I could learn a lot from him about being concise. He gives you the information, but then he also just tells you like what he thinks about it. And as long as you watch Dave Lee or whoever and you go, this guy's on my wavelength, then that's a valuable service. Video Game Donkey, who is a video game reviewer and content maker, has a fantastic video essay about when you watch a reviewer review a product, you need to ask yourself, where are they coming from? And are they on the same page as me? Are you a hardcore racer? Are you an Evan Turner or an Alex Vanover? Don't listen to my reviews of products because I'm not coming from the same place as you. My perspective is irrelevant to people like, I mean, they want to know how to fix Betaflight, sure. But if they want to know how to build a quadcopter frame that's going to win races, that's not me. So when I review DJI, I give you the information you need to make a decision for yourself, hopefully, if you disagree with me, so you know where I'm coming from. But then I tell you my opinion. And my opinion is that it's freaking amazing. It's freaking amazing. And the opinion of so many other people is also, when I first started reviewing DJI, I tried to dial it down a little bit and be like a little more objective. But as I saw so many people getting it and using it, I thought the honest thing to do is to be sincerely honest about how freaking good it is. And it is. So bias. Anytime someone is reviewing product, they are biased. They are biased towards their own opinion. Bias is only a bad thing. If somebody pays me a suitcase full of money and then I review their product and I say it's amazing, that is bias. That's bad. If I am, do you ever notice how I almost never promote my own products? I'm sure that Race Day Quads would really like it if I was posting the JBF7 flight controller all over Instagram. Or Get FPV would really like it if I was pumping, hey, I just flew the JB motors, aren't they great? And I don't do that. And one of the reasons I don't do that is because there's an obvious potential for bias there. And I stamp that out by then just being like, okay, we got this. It's good. My name's on it. That's doing the work. Any bias I have towards DJI, there's no money changing hands there. There's no, I mean, obviously I'm affiliate sales. If you buy it, I get money, but that's true of any product. It's just bias towards it being good. And if you disagree that it's good and it's not for you, hey, I respect that. That's not for everybody. But what you're really saying is you hate that I disagree with you about how good DJI is. And that's just, hey, not everybody's going to always agree with you. That's life. Let's see what's going on down in the comment. Quad Whisperer is being really disparaging in the comments. It's so cute. You guys all think you're heard. I don't read every comment, especially not when I'm ranting. But I read a lot of the comments. Bias is just an opinion. It's just an opinion. And I try to walk the line. I try, because here's the other thing. There are also reviewers out there who go, oh, guys, I just got the new such and such. It's freaking amazing. I freaking love it. It's going to be the best. You're going to love it. All right, well, on to the next review. They don't give you, they just expect you to take their word for it, that it's good. And I don't think I do that either. Anyway. Jeremy C., I'm interested in your comment. Jeremy C. said in the Discord says, Drone Mesh drove me to stop watching him because Drone Mesh felt heavily biased. Tell me more. I'm really actually sincerely curious. What do you mean by he's biased? What kind of bias did you object to there? Casual Flying asks, what about using 3D mode instead of turtle mode? Just lift off upside down and then flip over. Very good question. There's a couple differences with 3D mode versus turtle mode. One is that in 3D mode, when you arm, all the props start spinning immediately. So if you're upside down in the grass and the props are blocked, you'll have a problem. You can burn out an ESC that way. The other thing is with turtle mode, only 2 of the props spin to try to push you over. The other 2 props are not spun, and you can actually push the stick diagonally to spin 1 prop. So turtle mode lets you just spin the props you need to flip over. You are correct that there could be a situation where flying away in 3D mode would be the right thing to do, but you would need to have all the props clear, and it's not likely for that to be the case. Zolan says, whenever a reviewer points out faults in what they're reviewing, I tend to stick around and listen. Yes, Zolan, but you have to be careful because there is a thing that reviewers do that you got to watch out for, where the reviewer is like, this is the best product. It's so good. Yeah, there were a couple things I didn't like about it. And then they list like 2 tiny meaningless, I just felt like the stick was a tiny bit hard in my fingers and would have liked it if it was a little bit softer. And, the buttons, if they were a millimeter to the left, it would have been better. There's a thing they do where they do a glowing review and then just to sort of buy credibility, they list like 2 meaningless, and you got to watch out for that. It's a thing that they do. But yeah, the more critical, I think the more honest. Yeah. Family Guyver says, Drone Mesh is a genuine guy and a genius. That's why I was curious, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, Jeremy. That's why I was curious what he meant by biased, because, Drone Mesh has strong opinions. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm curious why he may seem biased. Sync Happens says, Drone Mesh always seems like everything is the best. I haven't seen him criticize things that have obvious problems. That's I've heard that complaint about basically everyone, including myself. So I think it's hard to judge that a complaint. Oh, crap. Looney 2010. I was talking about FreeSky Ethos, and then I got derailed. What do I think of FreeSky Ethos? FreeSky Ethos is a new operating system coming from FreeSky. I think if it's not OpenTX, then I'm not interested in it. I have said this for years. People are like, why don't you pay more attention to Spectrum? Because I like OpenTX. Why don't you pay more attention to Futaba? Because I like OpenTX. OpenTX is where the FPV community is at. If you're not running OpenTX, then you're dead to me. Because there is a huge body of knowledge around OpenTX. It is where everybody's head is at. And good luck. You could sell that, whatever it is. This is not even FreeSky hate. You're going to make some new operating system? Good luck selling it to airplane pilots. But the FPV community is all OpenTX. You will not see me covering or recommending a non-OpenTX radio. That's where it's at. Jeremy C., just to circle back, says it felt like every video was an ad. His vids felt like paid promotions. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because it is easy. It is easy to... I just keep picking up the Tango 2 because it's right here on the desk next to me. I'm not trying to pick on TBS. It's easy to get a new product, to be excited about it, to focus on the positive aspects of it and stop there, because that is an easy video to make and an easy review to make, and people will be happy about it and they will buy the product, which if you have affiliate sales then creates this self-reinforcing situation where the more positive you are, the more money you make. And you have to remind yourself to be accountable to the people who are going to buy the product and have a problem with it, and to maintain your credibility. So I could definitely see how you can end up in that situation. Sync happens. What's up, dude? Sync happens is a little salty in the Discord. I'm dead to you. Are you dead to me, dude? What are you asking, dude? Where are you? I mean, cancel your page. Listen, don't ever threaten me with canceling your Patreon support. Don't ever threaten me with that. And here's why. I don't want a single penny that you are not thrilled to give me. If you wake up one morning and go, geez, I've been watching Bardwell's videos, I'm getting so... I gotta give this guy a little cash. More power to you. And the minute that feeling goes away, go with my blessing. I will still answer your messages. I will still help you out. I don't care. That's my whole business model, is I help everybody, and enough people are happy about that they pay me. So I'm guessing from your message, you've asked me a question and I haven't. I mean, there's a lot of messages going by. Number one, you are always welcome to DM me, and I will get to you later today. Have you DM'd me, Sync Happens? Let's check. Let's see. Let's see what we got going on here. Welcome to my inbox. Sync Happens. Direct messages. Don't see any. Let's see. Sync Happens. Here we go. Has Sync Happens messaged me? Nope. No messages from Sync Happens here in my DMs. No, I guess I'm dead to you, though. Yeah, okay. Canceling my Patreon. Good. Goodbye. I mean, I'm not trying to be cavalier. I'm trying to act like I don't appreciate people's support. I totally do. But I will not... It is not worth your $2 a month to be, like, emotionally manipulated by you. You passive-aggressive, salty little monkey. You're not dead to me. What did you even ask me? I don't even see a message from you, dude. Anyway. Whee! Read the chat, man. I'm trying to read the chat. Where's the chat? All caps. Oh. Oh my God. Okay, I got triggered. I'm sorry, man. Wow. Okay. 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 Well, you got roasted. Okay, Sync Happens. It was sarcasm. Okay. I don't know what kappa means. What is kappa? I don't know what kappa is. I guess I'm dead to you. Oh, because I said, I see. Because I said if you're on Spectrum, you're dead to me. I didn't mean you're dead to me. I just meant I'm not going to make... Okay. Oh, boy. All right. I got triggered. And I ranted at somebody who didn't deserve it. Damn it. But I was feeling so self-righteous. I was feeling so good about having an opportunity to tell somebody to F off. And now you've taken that away from me. Sync happens. Apologies. I also meant it as a joke. All right, sync happens. We good? We good, man? I don't know what kappa means. I really hate it. I hate it. I gotta say, it is triggery for me. It is triggery for me when people, because I spend so much time answering people's messages for someone to then say, I guess you're not seeing my messages. And then, like, anyway, let's move on. Super awkward. I blame Chad Capper. Drone Racer, good idea. I blame Chad Capper for that somehow. I'm really not short-tempered, but I am. If you know how to push my buttons, you can trigger me. There are a few things that really, yeah. Don't you know us boomers use /s? You should use /s. Let's get some super chats out of the way. And move further from the awkwardness that I created. Anthony Short, thanks for $5 super chat. Nearly at 200K page subs. What's the plan to celebrate? I don't know. I am bad at YouTubing. I try to be good at YouTubing, and I mostly just get bored and overwhelmed and make videos. Currently, what are we up to? So, I mean, going to 200,000 subs, I should do some kind of a big promotion or contest or giveaway or celebration. Mostly, let's go to the, how about Social Blade? Can I get a live view count from Social Blade? Total video views. Where's the live view count? Live subscriber count. What are we at? Oh, 199,000. So I'm still 1,000 away. I'm around at 199,000. I have nothing planned, I have to tell you. Just heads down making videos. To be honest. I just heads down making videos. There you go. Super Deluxe is giving away $1,000 cash on his channel for hitting 1,000 subs, says Bot Grinder. Wow. I guess I should give away $200,000 then, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what should I do? What should I do to celebrate 200,000 subs? It's pretty big. Miser says, any advice to upgrade to a full-time FPV job? I mean, what do you want to do, Miser? What job do you want? Building, repairing, flying, making videos? Jeremy C. wants more 3-packs a day. It is tough to do 3-packs a day when it's cold outside. What was the biggest spike in subs? Asks Huff19. Huff19, biggest spike in subs was this video I did with Corridor Digital. They cross-promoted me, and of course they have a gigantic YouTube channel. So I got a big spike from them. A massive spike. And it went on for like probably 4 months. My views were up. In fact, frankly, I think it's still up. I don't know how much that has to do with like the pandemic or whatever. But that video came out in March of 2020, right as things were sort of ramping up, I typically get about 3,000 subs a month. And after that video came out, it bumped to maybe 4.5, maybe 5. And then it slowly came back down, but it's still holding at about 4,000 a month. Who knows? Yeah. Do a giveaway for 200,000 subs, but I do a giveaway every month. That's the thing. Like all of the special things I would do for celebration, I already do pretty much. So, Psych Limbo, thanks for $2. He loves my rants. The rants have to be, the thing is, if you're going to rant, it has to be correctly directed. It's like, I can think of, and of course, you know, you could go over these things in your mind as you're falling asleep, and you're like, I've done that before, where I ranted at somebody on stream, and then it turned out I misunderstood what they said, and I just looked like a jerk. So, I mean, a good self-righteous rant is fun, but you gotta be right. When's the product roundup going to happen? Mad Hero FPV. Mad Hero, I pushed that back. Again, you can check out my calendar. fpvknowitall.com/editor. Hey, did you guys know I have a website? fpvknowitall.com is my website. And on my website is my editorial calendar. This is my current plan for how the week's going to go. It often changes at the last minute. Like this GetRC video still isn't out because the files didn't get transferred over to the editor. They got corrupted and I had to re-upload them. And then it's the weekend, so the editing hasn't been done. So, like, it's not set in stone, but you can see I've currently got the Skyzone Goggles scheduled for the 12th. So you keep an eye out there. But you can always go check out my website, fpvknowitall.com. It also includes the Ultimate FPV Shopping List, which has lists of parts and suggested parts. So, yeah. Where can I find a recommendation for a flight controller on a 6S build? Asks Slappy1. Funny you mentioned that, Slappy. Here at the Ultimate FPV Shopping List. I don't know if you were intentionally throwing me a bone there. There's a section on flight controllers. And like I say, these are not the only good flight controllers in the world. It's just a few that I've picked. If you're having trouble deciding, here are some good ones that you could pick from. We're very much working to expand this to include more 20 millimeter and more micro stuff, but it's a big change and it's taken a lot of work to get it done, so it's still in process. Who makes that magnetic tool hanger? That is just a magnetic kitchen knife rack. Oh, I take that. I think that's just a magnetic knife rack. That is actually not my. That was the guy who did the photographs for me. He actually, these are my tools, but he actually staged this. I don't know where this exact knife rack comes from, but I believe it's just a kitchen. It's a magnetic knife rack for your kitchen. Hollywood Jack, thanks for a $25 donation. Big donation. Thank you for all your help. It means a lot to me. Thanks, Jack. I really appreciate it. Brittany Walker, my name is Jimmy. Are you sure? I thought it was Brittany. Well, anyway, probably your mom or something. I'm 9 years old, and I just finished building the Xylo Freestyle build. Freestyle quad with my dad. I'm super excited. Any advice? Test fail-safe with props off before you fly. And then follow the instructions in the video to do your maiden safely. Don't just, like, put a battery on, put it in your kitchen floor and try to arm it. Yep. Test fail-safe before you fly. It's in the tutorial, so presumably you did that. And do your first test hover safely. Could you talk about prop pitch? Asks Christopher Little. Thank you for $10, Christopher. 1700 kV 6S, and I want to do slow flying, recording RC planes. I've been reading. I'm just still confused. Lower pitch props are going to have smoother flying, less prop wash oscillation. There are going to be more linear. In other words, you're going to feel less change in throttle response as you go from low throttle to high throttle. And And you'll have longer flight times because they will make less thrust. You will have less overall thrust, but for smooth flying, maybe you don't need that. Higher pitch props are going to corner sharper. They're going to have way more top end power for sure. They're going to feel a little bit less controllable at low throttle. A little bit less predictable at low throttle. And have shorter flight times. In general, even if you like modulate your throttle, a higher pitch prop is going to be less efficient and give you a little shorter flight times. For slow flying, I would suggest a prop like the Ethics S3. It's a very low pitch and smooth prop. The Gemfan 51433 is also a very good low pitch prop. Any update on the T-Light timing? Yeah, T-Light is also on the schedule. Again, check my editorial calendar, fpvknowitall.com. It is currently scheduled for the 9th. That's the T18. No, that's the T-Light. That's a mistake. That should say T-Light. I have a feeling... Oh my God, what have I done to myself? What have I done to my... Why do I can't do all this in this amount of time. I don't know why I do this to myself. I just put things on the calendar as if I'm just going to be able to do them if I just put them on the calendar. And it's just a ridiculous amount of work, and I cannot possibly get it all done. So, yeah. Anyway, there's the calendar, though. Jumper T-Light is currently scheduled for Tuesday. I don't know about that. It's coming soon, though. You can generally assume that if you look at the schedule and something is scheduled for this week and then something else is scheduled for next week, even if this week gets pushed back, it'll still probably come out in roughly that order. Playgo Live wants an update on my Tracer review. I don't have an update on that. I really want to do a good job with this Tracer Ghost Crossfire comparison. I'm in a group chat right now with some really smart folks like Mark Spatz and Alessandro, the Express LRS developer. And we're talking about if you were to really do a solid comparison of Ghost, Crossfire, and Express LRS, you know, how would you get all that information correct? As far as range tests go, I am looking for somebody who does long-range flying, who could do a range test for me. It needs to be somebody who can document it. So hopefully it would be someone who already has a YouTube channel, and I can look at their YouTube channel and go, oh, this guy knows how to... So I can know that you're going to do a good test and know that you're going to... But then the question is, why wouldn't you just put that on your YouTube channel? I don't know. But I'm looking for somebody who can do that because I've really decided that I don't think there's any great way to do a proper range test on a long-range system without actually just putting it in a plane and flying it. Yeah. So, so I did the Tracer setup video, but I still am on pause for what I hope to do. What I hope to do is use the input of smart folks like Mark Spatz and Alessandro and so forth, and make a video that goes over the technical capabilities, leaving the question of range out, and say, you know, approximately this range. See what I mean? But leave the range test for later, because I don't think I want to wait for the range test. The product roundup is currently scheduled for the 13th. I bumped it a week. So the patron giveaway and the product roundup happen together. Have I moved? Yeah, the patron giveaway is moved to the 13th. Oh, but the drawing, I didn't move the drawing. That's my mistake. So that needs to get pushed a week. Draw YouTube giveaway, and then the mailing also needs to be pushed a week. I wish I could tie these cards together so when I move one, the next one moves. Mail, patron giveaway, mail, stop. Mail YouTube giveaway. There we go. Yeah, sorry about the confusion there. I pushed the new product roundup. All right, now that's updated. If your stream glitched out, Cody, just reload. It should be okay. Yeet FPV has been doing Tracer and Ghost on fixed wing. Okay, well, I'll get a hold of him. Yeet FPV. Talk to me. Reach out. Get me. Oh, he doesn't have a freaking... His discussion page is dead. And he doesn't have a freaking contact address. Yeet FPV. Yo, dog. Hit me up. Who knows Yeet FPV and can get me in touch with him? I'm just going to make a video. Here. Here's what we're going to do. There we go. Perfect. Boom! That'll probably get him out. Thank you for that, Archimedes. Kevin Kaminsky, we're going back to the question about getting the OSD in the goggles. He says custom OSD is on in the goggles, but I still don't see VBAT. So I guess MSP isn't working. Should I send you an email? You're welcome to do that, Kevin. It's not a good sign, though. I mean, I would change the plug at this point or try a different air unit. Hecdectica, thank you for a $5 donation. Dogecoin is at 0.73. Whoa, it's back up. I sold tons of shares at 0.46 at a 300% profit. Starting to think Doge isn't such a joke anymore. What do you think of Doge? I don't know. What do I know? Doge went up from like below 0.01 to 0.08 cents. And then it dropped back down to 0.02, and I was like, there you go, there was the spike. But then Elon Musk made some tweet about Doge, and suddenly it blew up again. 300% profit is pretty damn impressive, depending on how much money you put into it. This feels very speculative. That's what I'll say. Gregory Bronston wants to know how they do drone fireworks, like the drone dancing in China or Turkey. Gregory, typically that's controlled by a computer on the ground. The drone swarm is controlled by a computer on the ground. They're not autonomous. I remember Lady Gaga had that Super Bowl drone swarm, and Intel had some videos about it. It was controlled on the ground. Craig Mitchell, thanks for a $5 super chat. How and where to solder the wire for the Wi-Fi antenna on the naked GoPro? I saw you mention your video, but I'm not sure where you were showing us to do it. Oof. Let me see if I can help you with that. Shush now. I really feel like that needs to be exposed brighter. Okay, so don't do what I did. I haven't done it yet. Don't remove this thing. People told me that this thing is a test port for a test antenna, and if you remove it, your Wi-Fi won't work. I thought this was the antenna port that you should solder to, and people told me that it isn't. So I believe that this is where you solder the antenna. Can anybody confirm that for me? I'm not sure that I got it right. Like, I saw that this was a UFL type connector. It's clearly an RF connector. And I was like, oh, well, that's got to be where the antenna goes. But then why is there no antenna there? So I desoldered this thing thinking I would solder the antenna here. But then I checked the instructions and they were like, no, it's here. But what the heck is this little springy thing? That's not an antenna. So is this like some kind of a connection that connects to the antenna? I honestly am not sure I'm giving the right advice here. So I think if you look at the instructions, you desolder this little springy thing and solder the wire here, but I actually am not sure about that. Maybe somebody in the chat can weigh in. Yeah, Big FPV says this is where you solder. So do you remove this little brass piece and then solder directly to it? Hang on. Let's see. So here you can see I've desoldered both of them. You see I've desoldered that UFL connector. Don't do that. Do not do that. But then you solder the wire here, I believe. I think is correct. Aber the Ham wants, thank you for $5. Aber, any GPS modules with built-in barometer? I think that must exist, right? Like right now, I'm going to search for GPS with barometer ArduPilot. Neo V2 Pro GPS. Integrates compass, barometer, flight controller, status light, buzzer. See, this is for ArduPilot, though. But it does have a built-in barometer. I don't know if there's one for Betaflight, though. I do know that Betaflight supports external barometer via, I'm pretty sure, but via I2C. So, therefore, it should work if you can find hardware that would work with it. FPV bracket? What's a FPV bracket request? Casual flying FPV. What is that? What is that? Do a quick review on the Casual Flying's FPV bracket. All right, where is it? I don't see it. Where's the bracket? Somebody post it in the Discord. I see that you guys want me to look at Casual Flying's FPV bracket. Post it. Either post another comment or post it in the Discord. A bracelet, not a bracket. All right. Somebody's asking for the link to the battery spreadsheet. Yep, I can do that. Here is the battery spreadsheet. 1 second. Here is the link to the battery spreadsheet. Boom. There it is. Pengi says that connector looks like a test point connector. That is correct. That's what I learned. To connect an expensive probe or to do properly RF measurements and matching, when connecting the probe, it breaks the trace. Yep, that's what I heard. So by desoldering the connector, it also broke the trace, is what I was told. Ryzik says, I'm having issues with my Cadix Vista. It keeps getting the freeze video and loss of signal. Have to reboot to get the signal back, but then it just does it again with a minute of boot up. You're running the Vista on 4S power. Can I solder to VBAT? Yeah, absolutely. The JBF7 absolutely should have enough output on the regulator to power the Vista, though. Try moving it to VBAT, and if that fixes the problem, it means the regulator on your JBF7 is overtaxed. Are you running anything else off that 9-volt regulator, like LEDs and stuff? If all you're running off the 9-volt regulator is the Vista, it should not be browning out. If you move it to VBAT and that fixes it, that does prove that it's the regulator that's the issue. And I would be going to support with that and say, hey, is my regulator working the way that it should be? Eddie Nunez wants to know, what's the use for my battery test spreadsheet? Yeah, you know, if you like looking at numbers, it's nice to have some numbers to look at. No, it's battery testing, dude. I got all these results from all these batteries. Don't see a value in that. What are your thoughts on split cams? Asked Kappa FPV. I now know what Kappa means, so cool. Okay, boomer. I'm not even a boomer. I'm Gen X. I'm just barely out of Gen X. I'm like at the end of the beginning of Gen X, but I am Gen X. Am I, or am I millennial? What year? When did Gen X end? 1965 to 1980. No, I'm totally Gen X. I'm way Gen X. I was born in 1975. There you go. I'm not even a boomer. But apparently I also don't know what all the kids are doing with their emojis and their slang. What are your thoughts on split cams? I'm thinking about a Loris or similar on a 4-inch long range to stay under 250. Kappa, most of the split cams are okay, but not great. The best split cams are the ones with two separate cameras, one for HD and one for FPV. So the Loris is okay, but like I think I flew the Loris on a quad that I'm reviewing right now, and I think it was like dropping frames. I don't know if the SD card had a problem. It was fine for FPV, but not for HD. So you really need to do your reviews and find the best split style cam. There have been some that were okay. I remember the Runcam split, either the Micro or the Nano. I thought it was pretty good. I think it was in the HX115, the Beta FPV, HX115, a little toothpick quad. I thought it was quite good. But many of them are not good, and you really got to do your reviews to find a good one. Am I going to try 3D flying in the future? Keo's FPV. Keo's, I did a video where I converted one of my tiny whoops to 3D. It's super easy to do. But I'm not like super inspired by flying 3D. Christopher Little, thanks for a $5 super chat. What are your thoughts on capacitor XT60 combo pigtails? Easier for noobs? Christopher Little, the further the capacitor is from the ESC, the worse it's going to perform. But some is better than nothing. I think a capacitor on the ESC versus a capacitor on the XT60. I saw a test showing the size of the voltage spike that got through, and I think the capacitor on the XT60 was like, it was either a half to a third as effective. It was way less effective, but it's still better than nothing. The other problem with an XTC on the pigtail, capacitor on the pigtail, is that as you handle the pigtail plugging and unplugging the battery, you oftentimes can jostle the capacitor and end up breaking the trace. So the best situation if you're going to put a capacitor on the pigtail is to use one of those little PCBs that the capacitor solders to. Yeah. Ryzix, you are correct. The LED 5-volt ground pads near the buzzer pads, that would be the 5-volt regulator. Make sure if you are running LEDs that they are not drawing too much current and browning out the 5-volt regulator. Blunty argues that caps are more for ripple than spikes. Spikes are pretty quick. A TVS diode does a much better job at catching spikes. You're totally correct, Blunty. TVS diode is the right tool for catching spikes. I mean, I think that we have to agree that caps make a difference when it comes to spikes. Because we know that without a cap, you're much more likely to pop an ESC, for example. And I think voltage spikes are what pops the ESC. So I do think caps help with spikes, but you're right that a TVS diode does make a much bigger difference. Christopher Little. Oh, I got you, Christopher. Hectectica, thank you for a $10 super chat. Possibility of DJI delaying V2 goggles to add features like O2, OLED, analog, etc. Why not keep selling the V1, then release the V2 a week after discontinuing the V1, especially since it's only a marginal improvement? Hectectica, I think that DJI discontinued the V1 when they did because they planned to release the V2 earlier. It doesn't make sense. Like V1, when it was discontinued, like in October, I don't remember exactly, but it's been months. So surely they wouldn't intentionally delay the availability of their product for months at a time. My guess is that they intended to release the V2 earlier. Something went on that caused them to change their schedule, but it was too late. They had already shut down production of the V1. That's my guess. I don't think there's any possibility of them delaying the V2 further, especially because the V1 has already been discontinued. Nobody's making it. Nobody's selling it. They have to get the V2 out as soon as possible. I do think that they probably noticed that when the V2 goggle was released, there was some disappointment from the FPV community. What they'll do about that, I don't know. But that's not going to be this release. That might be the next release. Chris G, thanks for a $2 super chat. Individual ESCs and SB, Maytech F722 SE, JBF4, or CLF4. F722 SE? You mean the AIO? You wouldn't want the F722 SE because it doesn't have a built-in PDB. If you're using individual ESCs, you want an all-in-one board. JBF4 or CL Racing F4, they're actually very, very similar. They're based. The JBF4 was based on the CL Racing F4 target with the participation and permission of CL Racing, for the record. Yeah, he started the design for the Chen Ling of CL Racing F4 started the design of the flight controller that eventually became the JBF4. Then he got hired by Armatan, and he stopped working for anybody but Armatan. I don't know if he still works for Armatan, but so then I took over with the JBF4, but it was based. They're very similar boards, so. Sherwin S, thank you for $5. Tiago Bento, thank you for $5. My Diatone Hey Tina is yaw twitching. It can't even take off the ground. Everything's brand new. Could it be a bad gyro? Yes, absolutely. If you've put some PID preset on it, then maybe that's it. Make sure it's at the default PIDs, but presumably it's a ready to fly, so it should come ready to go. And if all you did is bind it and arm it and it's yaw twitching, I would immediately reach out to whoever you bought it from and tell them you're having this problem. This is likely to be a hardware problem, and the store or Diatone should take care of it for you. So many times people reach out to me and they say, I just bought this product and it's being weird. How do I fix it? And I'm like, stop. I mean, if you get left high and dry by the store, okay, I'll help you fix it. But you should not buy a product and have it be broken right out of the box. Send it back. Make them replace it for you. I see people saying that casual flying is not here and also can't send me the link because you can't send links in the chat to keep people from spamming. How am I going to message casual flying, though? I don't know who he is or where to message him. It's a little tricky. What's the deal with this bracelet? Anyway, there's so many people excited about this bracelet. I can't wait to see it. Do you ever do a 4-inch freestyle build? Jared wants to know. I'm a huge fan of my 4-inch Catalyst Machine Works shocker. Basically, what I'm saying is I love the shocker. I love the shocker when it's 4 inches. I just love getting a 4-inch shocker. Kids, ask your parents. That is the entire reason he named the quadcopter that. Will a 4-inch freestyle handle a full-size GoPro? It won't be great. I would prefer to have a naked GoPro. It could do it, but it won't freestyle well. That's my take. You really want 5-inch if you're going to carry a full-size GoPro. It can do it, but it's not going to do it well. Would you ever do a Trial Psycho RC? Thank you for 549 euros. Just built a 51-gram 85mm naked Vista whoop. Currently working on a 36-gram 75mm Vista whoop. What? Shut up. Stop breaking physics. 36 gram. I mean, the naked Vista is like 18 grams, right? It's like you've got a 15-gram 75mm quad. That's pretty amazing, dude. Ben T says, I do like your content. I know how to take any biases into account when I watch reviews. Thank you, Ben, for a $10 donation. Acra Cheese FPV Cobra review coming soon, my friend. Coming hopefully this week. And we are caught up on Super Chats. Yay. Kevin Kaminsky, thanks for $5. He sent me a message in the Patreon Discord. Come in, Kev Crew. Yeah, okay. Only problem, Kevin, is now I have clicked. So, Discord, dear Discord, can we sort this out, please? Here's the problem. Kevin sent me this message. Great, good information. I can't look at it right now. I'm doing a stream. Oh, it's marked red, though. Hey, Discord, can I please have a mark as unread? Can I? No? How do I... Now I'm never going to see this again. It's going to get lost in the inbox. What am I going to do? Nope. Got a mark as red. Don't have a mark as unread. It's gone. That's why you should have emailed me, dude. See, I clicked on it just to see what it was, and now what? I'm going to try to remember to get back to that, but maybe email me. You have to right-click the message. Really? Really? WTFPV. Kevin Crew. You have to click the message? Pin message. No. Mark unread. Woo! Thank you. Thank you, Discord. Thank you, Discord. It's actually super helpful. I've wanted that for a long time. Jeremy C., thanks for sharing this image, going back to that question about the Wi-Fi antenna. Here's the thing I don't get, though. Is this literally the Wi-Fi antenna? That does not look like any antenna I've ever seen. It doesn't look like an antenna. I mean, I guess an antenna... How is that the antenna? Makes no sense. Well, anyway. Ciati says, message them back and ask a super quick question so they reply again. That is my usual technique. You are correct. This happens. Me in bed getting ready to go to sleep. I got a message from somebody. Hold on. I click on it. I'm just answering a couple questions quick before I go to bed. Have you checked to see if the receiver's working? I click on somebody's message and it's like super long. I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I can't read this all before bed, and I can't answer this super complicated question on my phone. But if I click away now, I'll never see this message again. So then I go, and I asked hey, what receiver are you using again? The only reason I've asked that question is so that now I can turn my phone off, and in the morning I'll have a message from you again, so I can come back to your message. Swear to God. I swear to God. I definitely do that. Sometimes. A. Fredlin says the antenna is a sticker in the case. Okay, that's what I thought. So this to me looks like a kind of a spring-loaded finger that touches the actual antenna, and that's what people are telling me happens. That makes a lot of sense. That makes more sense to me. But that's where you're going to solder. You're going to desolder that thing and solder your antenna to that pad. right, we're caught up on Super Chats. Oh, I feel good when I'm caught up on Super Chats, I'll tell you what. We got about a half hour left in the stream. I'm going to be playing Among Us with my patrons over on the Discord server. Ghost Branch FPV is going to be streaming. If you want to spectate our Among Us, it'll start around 3:15, about 15-20 minutes after the end of the stream, because I usually go get a little snack and take a bathroom break after the stream. But like, come on down if you want to watch. Why is it? Oh, I see. Ghost Branch is going to be streaming. I'll put a link to that. At the end of the last stream, he was like, "Oh, I see. Ciadio is the only one who gets promotion." I was like, "Okay." This is Ghost Branch's stream. If you want to watch us play Among Us, we have a good time. And Ciati is also going to be streaming at 3, so you'll have to decide which of those you want to watch. Ciati points out it also makes sense why, when the case of the GoPro gets bashed up, the Wi-Fi dies. That's a good point. The spring-loaded thing loses contact with the antenna sticker. That's a good point. What frame is your favorite for a 5-inch Freestyle drone? I would like to invite you to check out this video, which is my lightweight Freestyle frame roundup, where I go through some of the. And now, so part of the problem is, I did a poll asking which of these frames should I pick. And people were like, what about all these other frames? And I didn't say in the poll that I'm focusing on frames around 110 grams. If what you want is like an ultimate bando basher that will never break, you're going to have a frame in the 135, 140 grams range. And all of the frames that people said, this is the best Freestyle frame, they're in that weight range. And I'm intentionally trying to keep it a little lighter than that. So mine, I'm leaning towards the QAVS, the FPV Cycle Glide, maybe the Moon Goat. Those 3 were the ones that felt like they kind of came to the top of my list based on my requirements. You can watch that video to see more about what the requirements are and so forth. I wish the QAVS had a solid top plate. It would be more compelling. It's got a really interesting arm design. Ryan Harrell, the designer for the QAVS, managed to find a way to have 4 arms come together securely, but to not have a screw hole through the center of the arm to create a weak point. Very, very slick. Bot AFX Banger is the best frame out there, says VOTSquad. Yeah, but it's 145 grams. QAVS is a tad weak. Well, I mean, anything in the 110 gram range is going to be weaker, hopefully, than anything in the 130, 140 gram range. The point is that it's still strong enough and it'll fly better. That's my thinking. QAVS looks like a copy of the Apex, says Flylow D. I mean, I think when you really dig in, you see a lot of differences, especially the way the arms come together is very, very different. The fact that they have a split deck design, sure. People really love the Bot Banger, huh? The QAVS Johnny FPV Edition does have a solid top plate, but the QAVS Johnny has been stretched to hold the air unit. It's actually a little heavier, and I would rather have just a regular QAVS with a solid top plate. Thank you, Experimental RC is pointing out he's going to be doing a crossfire range test with his paramotor soon. I'd be interested in that, Experimental RC. But you'd have to convince me that you could fly the paramotor and run the test at the same time, and I think that might be tricky. But we could talk about it. You can message me and we'll talk about it. Carrera Talon is a racing frame. It's not super lightweight. It's a very, very nice, durable frame, but it's a little more focused on racing and is not in my weight range. What's a good onboard DVR unit, asks Jeff Schubert. There really isn't one, honestly. all of the onboard DVRs that I can think of are terrible DVRs. They use MJPEG encoding. I mean, the good news is that since they're getting the camera feed direct from the camera, it still looks better than any analog video you've ever seen. It does look okay, but none of them are great. So, what's your thought on doing a 5-inch build with X-Class components, like Nerk did with the X-Class ESCs on a 5-inch? I mean, if you go, you gotta ask yourself, what are you getting? The problem is that you start with 5-inch props, okay? So now, are you gonna have X-Class motors? Are you gonna have like a 5-inch motor? There's no point in having a 900 kV or a 400 kV big honkin' motor to swing a 5-inch prop. So what you're going to do is you're going to work backwards from the prop and the all-up weight. And you're going to see that there's no compelling reason to have a 12S ESC, etc. When Nerk did his, he did like a 7-inch 12S build, you got to start with the prop and the all-up weight and work back. And if you can find a compelling reason, then you can use those components. But a lot of times you'll find that if you're starting with a 5-inch prop, there isn't a reason to use maybe like a 2507 motor, maybe 2406 or something. Like maybe. But that's like the biggest motor that even sort of makes sense on a 5-inch prop. Maybe somebody out there like Kebab would be like, no, you need a bigger motor. But there's no reason to use like a 2010 motor for a 5-inch prop. It's just too much weight and more torque than you need. So you have to let the quadcopter design determine the electronics. The Glide Hammer, Skyrot, the Glide Hammer, I think, is being replaced by a new version of the Glide that kind of... Bob didn't like the Glide Hammer because the Glide Hammer made the arms thicker, but then it just meant that the base plate broke, and he didn't like that. So Bob is redesigning the Glide to sort of replace the Hammer, is my understanding, and it'll be a more durable version of the Glide, but without the deficits of the Hammer. What do you think about the new FPV Cycle 5-inch motors? I got some of those on the way. So many people have said they're amazing that I feel obligated to try them out. I will say that those motors are more tailored towards a heavier quad, although they're also good on a lighter quad, and they're more tailored towards low-pitch props, which I tend to prefer higher-pitch props. So I'm not sure they're going to be the right fit for me, but I am going to try them. Aber the Ham says they're way too much motor for the quad. I mean, I agree. Bob will not reveal what the size is, but they are big honkin' motors. If you look at the side-by-side between like a 2306 and Bob's 5-inch motor, they're huge motors. Somehow he's gotten the weight down and they're only like 33 grams. But, yeah, curious. Archimedes, I have to disagree with you. Archimedes said, video recorded at 1 megabit onboard looks bad compared to 10 meg on Orca Fusion Rapid Fire. I mean, fair enough, but in my experience, the signal coming out of the VTX has been degraded. Even if you're right up next to it and you have a really strong, clear signal, the signal from the camera still looks better. Maybe, and as soon as you fly away and it starts breaking up, I think the signal in the the best scenario would be that you have a really good onboard DVR, but nobody makes one. Word on the street is that Bob's motors are 2506. I don't know about that. I mean, somebody could just frickin' caliper them, right? Ryzik says, my thoughts on the Caddx brownouts were that when I fly in the cold, there could be condensation happening in the plug. That seems really unlikely. That seems really unlikely. Should I use a cap on the Vista when running VBAT on 4S? It's not mandatory on 4S, but it is a good idea. I don't think that would cause your brownouts, though. How about putting 5-inch blades on a 4-inch baby croc? I don't think the motors on the baby croc would handle 5-inch at all. I don't think so. Drone Mesh made a short video talking about a rumored OLED Skyzone O2 with a new module. I have also heard that rumor, but it probably came from Drone Mesh. I don't know anything about that. Drone Mesh also says some new digital system is coming. I mean, Orca has been saying they're working on a digital system for a while. That's not really like breaking news. Have you seen the new 1600 milliwatt VTX from Rush FPV? Yeah, Rush FPV Solo. Coming soon. I'm looking forward to getting to try that out. It looks really impressive. It looks really impressive. High output power. And I said, how are you going to use 1600 milliwatts and be legal in the USA? Because in the USA, it's not legal to go over 1 watt when you're flying in the air. And he seemed to think that was doable. So if the VTX is labeled as outputting 1600 milliwatts, USA retailers won't carry it. So there has to be something going on here. Like TBS says, at least 1 watt for their VTXs. I speculate one reason is that if they advertise it as going over 1 watt, it draws the attention of the FCC. And stores like Ready Made RC and Get FPV, who have gotten some attention from the FCC, they won't touch it. Thank you very much, Marcos, for giving me a link to this. I didn't have a public link. This is pretty freaking impressive. It's labeled as 1.6 watts with smart audio. I'm really looking forward to trying this out. I think Rush FPV makes great stuff. I wish it was in a 20 millimeter form factor, or even just 20 millimeter mounting. Like I realize that when you're putting out this much output power, you probably can't. What's the dimensions? 37 by 24. I mean, that's pretty big. That's pretty big. I don't know how that's gonna fit like in the back of a small frame. 37 by 24 is pretty big. I mean, it looks like a great video transmitter. High output. It may not be for a lighter, smaller build, though. Impressive. AKK Dominator V2. Yeah, I mean, it outputs 2 watts, Johnny D. AKK can't touch Rush for build quality, though. It's Dart says that's like saying, how do you do 70 in a 55? Just do it and hope they don't catch you. It starts. The problem is that if you look at here's the TBS Unify video transmitter product page. Where's their big, yeah. Notice they got this big FPV regulatory notice, right? The reason this is here is because they got a massive fine for selling some VTXs that were not compliant with the law in some way. And you will not find a video transmitter over 1 watt for sale on this site. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think they carry AKK at all, but they got dinged. Once you get dinged and you pay the FCC hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're not interested in taking a chance on getting that speeding ticket again. Everest Bencher, the issue, I don't know the issue with VTXs is for aerial use, there's a specific limit that comes into play. I think it's 1 watt for telecommand, and they count video transmitters as telecommand or something like that. But the limit for aerial use is 1 watt in the United States. That is established. And they're finding they have fined people for importing VTXs that go over that. Yeah, there's lots of companies that have VTXs that go over 1 watt, but you will not find many, if any, United States retailers importing them. So a lot of times they'll have an international version and a USA version, and the USA version is capped at 1 watt. Everest Bencher, you can't go up to 200 watts in 5.8 gigahertz on an aerial vehicle using it for telecommand. You absolutely can't. Now, Eddie Nunez points out, what about the DJI going up to 1200 milliwatts? I'm not sure about that because DJI is not analog. It's spread spectrum. And spread spectrum transmissions usually have different rules than analog transmissions. So I would have to go back and check on that. I don't actually know. You should be able to use any UART for a Bluetooth module, Leke. Any UART, correct. Is that just for non-ham people? No. I mean, you're supposed to... Kappa FPV, you're not supposed to be flying a video transmitter at all if you don't have a ham license. I'm sorry to point that out. Many people think that if you're under 25 milliwatts, you're legal. That's true in Europe, I believe, but not in the USA. In the USA, all of the video transmitters that we use, none of them are Part 15 certified. They cannot be. They do not comply with Part 15. It's not even just that technically they comply, but they were not submitted for certification. They are not compliant with Part 15. You are supposed to have a ham license to use any analog video transmitter in the United States. Any FPV analog video transmitter. So why doesn't the FCC go after Amazon for selling shortwave radios to non-licensed people? I don't know the answer to that. Like, when GetFPV got their fine, the big thing that got them dinged, I think, was that some of the 1.3 gigahertz video transmitters they were using were transmitting on licensed frequencies that actually, like, if you're supposed to be transmitting at 1 watt and you're transmitting at 1.5 watts, but everything else is legal, probably no one's going to care. But like the 1.3 gigahertz video transmitters they were using were interfering with some license bands. And the ARRL got super pissed and like made a big fuss, and the FCC came and dinged them. Why doesn't the FCC go after Amazon? I mean, it just is a question of how much people complain and how much you notice, and I guess nobody's raising a stink about it. But here's the thing. If you sell a shortwave radio and the person using it is not licensed, but at the end of the day, they're also not making any trouble, then the ARRL isn't really going to notice. But if you sell a shortwave radio and that person is like knocking out your repeater, now the ARRL is going to get pissed and start writing letters to the FCC. So basically, no one has done anything yet. Del Squacho says, what about selling it as a ground video transmitter? Yep, that is a loophole that someone could go through. And I know at least one store is doing that. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But there is at least one store who sells high-powered video transmitters under a separate listing specifically for ground vehicles. And then if you put it on an airplane, that's not their problem. Alex Featherstone, if you're in the United States, there is no 25 milliwatt rule. In Europe, I believe if you're under 25 milliwatts, you don't need a license. In the United States, 25 milliwatts isn't even a thing. Just to be clear, Starjumper and Ryzex in the Discord, it's possible that the DJI goggle still has the 1 watt limit, even though it's a digital signal and a spread spectrum signal. I'm just saying I don't know. Usually digital signals are subject to different, and usually you can output more power on digital systems than on analog systems because they're less likely to interfere. But I'm just saying I don't know. It's possible that the DJI 1200 milliwatt output is legal. It's possible that it's not. Maybe ham radios are legal because they could theoretically be used in a receive-only mode. Ryzex, the DJI system is Part 15 licensed. You do not need a ham license. Technically, I think only 4 of the channels are Part 15 licensed, which, how does that even make sense? So technically, I think you're supposed to be on like channels 1, 3, 5, and 7. I don't know which channels it is. If you look at the documentation, those channels are Part 15 certified, and you do not need a ham license. We're coming up on the end of the stream. We got 4 minutes left in the stream. Aaron Ciotti is going to be streaming, and he's going to start posting the link to his stream. He's going to start at 3 p.m., roughly when I go off the air. And what are you doing this week, Ciotti? Go ahead and post it. Aber the Ham says, do you need a ham license for the radio link? That depends on what radio link you're using. Some radio links do require a ham license. Most do not. Is 868 legal? 868 megahertz legal in the U.S. and would it be practical and affordable? No, Neil Bukanaga Jr. 868 megahertz is used by the cell network here in the U.S. It would not be legal. It would be way not legal to use it. You would interfere with the cell network, and they would interfere with you. If you accidentally set your crossfire to 868 in the U.S., you get fail-safes at really short range, and you piss off the cell companies. If you do it long enough and consistently enough, they will come get you. So do not use 868 in the U.S. Use 915. Sim Sunday and Q&A and Velocidrone formation flying is what Ciotti is up to today. He's going to start posting the link to his stream. We will also be playing Among Us on my Discord server. And Ghost Branch FPV is going to be streaming that. Ghost Branch, why are you not a mod, dude? Ghost Branch, post that link, dude. In the chat, not in the Discord. I'm going to mark you as a mod so you can post that. And we still haven't seen this beautiful bracelet that everybody's asking for. Ryzex, always good to have a ham license, man. It's always good. You never know. But if you're only using DJI, then you don't technically need it. There he is. Ghost Branch, you just almost always post in the Discord, so I've never had a chance to mark you as a moderator before. Now you're a moderator. So Ghost Branch is going to be streaming. And if you guys want to watch that game, you can. Ciotti's also going to be streaming. Is this the bracelet in question? The mythical bracelet? I don't know. Is this it? An FPV bracelet. What is it? I don't even know what this is. Is it a bullet connector? It's a bullet connector. I see. All right, that's cute. That's cute, I guess. Ghost Branch says I write here often. I guess you just missed it because I wasn't a mod. Come on, man. I'm trying to weasel out here. You got to give me an out. Don't skewer me right at the end of the stream. I might rant about you and then have to apologize. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I will be streaming again at 8 p.m. tomorrow. We'll be spending the whole stream talking about the Super Bowl and recapping what happened. I'm not really a big football fan. 8 p.m. tomorrow and 6 p.m. on Tuesday, we will be doing the news, FPV news with JB and It's Blunty. We got a lot of great news items. So, patrons, I will see you guys in about 15 minutes for Among Us. And Luther FPV, I will help you with your video issue. Email me, joshuabardwell@gmail.com. I will help just about everybody. If I don't get to you on the stream, you can always email me or DM me on Facebook, and I'll do my best to help. But that's going to do it for now. Siati, have a great stream, dude. I am out of here. Have a great day, everybody.